Guess what? So today I was going to release to you guys something that was a little bit more positive, something that was a little bit more reflective on life, maybe something that you can hold on to and take with you on your journey through life. But that's not the case. I wanted to tell this story because I thought it was absolutely insane, something that happened about 2 years ago. Now, I know some of you guys are probably going to be like, that's not real, that didn't actually happen, but I promise you it did. I had a crazy ass roommate. And I can tell many stories about this guy. Many. But today we're going to focus on one and probably the most ignorant thing that he has ever friggin' done. Let's get into it. All right. So I moved into my house that I'm currently living at about 2 years ago. But before that, I lived in another house with roommates. And I lived in that house, I don't know, 5 years, maybe 6, 7. I can't remember at this point. But when we were moving out of that house, I moved into this one, and some of the other roommates moved into another house in another town because I was starting my family here in my current residence. So I needed my own 3-bedroom place, and that is what I did. But the other roommates, when they were moving out, they still had things that they needed to pull out of that house and get out of there. So they sent one of the other roommates, the jerk off. We're going to call him the jerk off because that's really what he was. And they sent him to spend the night at the old house just to gather some stuff and bring some things back to the new house, right? All right. Pretty simple, pretty basic task. Anybody could do it. A chimpanzee could have done that task without screwing up. But I promise you, this guy screwed up. He screwed up big time. Instead of being a normal functioning adult and gathering things that needed to be gathered in the house, putting it into one spot, and then, collecting it and picking it up the next day, bringing it to the new house, he thought it would have been fun, just fun, an absolute swell of a time to throw a huge party in that house, right? He said, screw it. Screw it. I'm going to throw a party. Let's have a big old party at this house. We're leaving it anyway. It's going to be abandoned. Let's just have fun and act like an idiot. So he invited a bunch of friends over. That is what he did. I don't know how many people were involved. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10? I don't know. I don't know everybody that was involved with these shenanigans, but I know that the jerk-off was the ringleader. Because he's the one that was responsible. The oldest one, rather, too. He was the one that was responsible for everybody there because he invited a bunch of guys in their early 20s. And mind you, he's in his early 30s, so he's about 10 years older than everybody else that was there. I don't know, and I can't tell you exactly how everything went down. I cannot, and I'm sorry, because I was not there. So I can only tell you from like a third person's perspective. So I'm assuming they started drinking. They started partying. I don't know if there was any music involved. Probably not because they're idiots. Anyway, upon the partying, they thought it would be fun to start punching holes into walls and the ceiling and destroying stuff and breaking things. Idiots. Idiots. Fools. Retards. Dumbasses. Whatever you want to call them. That is what they were being. Just destroying the entire property. I have photos, by the way. And I don't know if I'm going to share them on here. Because yes, the police did get involved. We are not there yet in this part of the story, and that time will come. Just please be patient with me. So they absolutely destroyed everything. I had a $300 shag rug in my room of that house that I did not yet take out of the house because I was trying to figure out where I was going to put it. It would look great in my living room right now, although it got covered in flour and then pissed on. So the entire shag rug got freaking destroyed. Holes got punched in like all the walls. Ceiling fans got ripped down. Silverware got thrown into the holes in the walls. Things from relatives that have passed away from previous roommates got destroyed, which is absolutely cruel and disgusting and vile. I don't know why somebody would do that. Everything got like covered and saturated in human urine. Well, these guys needed somewhere to piss, right? They were freaking blackout drunk drinking all night. The basement, I mean, any bit of glass or anything down there was destroyed. I mean, they tore apart things that were irreplaceable. Things that I owned, things that other roommates owned, things that, are sentimental and irreplaceable, things that you can never get back in a million years. They just thought it was fun to destroy. I even think that they were planning on blowing up the house. Thank God they never did that. Thank God that never happened. The guy the jerk off, his kids lived in this house, so he went into their bedrooms and destroyed whatever was left in their rooms. Whatever. Dressers, Christmas gifts that were there. Huh. I have so many different stories I could tell about this guy. I mean, I can make a whole nother channel on it. But, yeah, he went through and he destroyed a bunch of their stuff. How friggin' ignorant. Like, your own kids' stuff? How low can you possibly be? How much of a scumbag can you possibly be? To face no remorse, no regret? Are you even human? And I kind of hope that he does hear this story, come across it someday, and was like, damn, I screwed up. But the sad thing is, he's not going to do that. That even if he found this story, he wouldn't do nothing about it. He wouldn't even think, he wouldn't even second guess that he screwed up. You know what I mean? Him and his friends, they just dismantled this entire house. And there's pictures, and maybe I will share some of them. These are pictures from the actual realtor company that actually is selling the property or have already sold the property. I am not entirely sure. There's a lot of stories I can tell about this house. If you go back to my my other channel, MS Vlog Creation, and go back like 2 to 3 years, and more, you're going to see a lot of videos that were actually taken in this house. So if you guys know me as MS Vlog Creation and have seen that channel, the other house I was living at where my bedroom had purple walls, yeah, it was that house. That was the property. And I've been holding off on talking about this for a long time on the internet. I've been holding off. One, because, yes, the police didn't get involved. I think it was like a day or two later we found out about it. And one of the other roommates, she called the police, man. They did a police report because one of the guys in charge of the realtor company was absolutely pissed. He was not happy about it, and he looked at us. He thought we were the ones that that damaged the house. He said, "Hell no, this wasn't us," and we knew who it was. We knew who was involved. It was the jerk off. The jerk off was the guy that was involved in destroying and damaging this property. The police got involved. They did a police report, but he got away scot-free. Again, another thing in this guy's pathetic life, just allowing him to get away scot-free. He's done so much stuff to where he deserves to be behind bars. I remember the one time he got drunk and then got into the car and drove somewhere. I don't know where he went. But when he got back, we let him have it. We tore that motherfucker apart. Sorry for cursing. I try to avoid that on the channel. But yes, we tore him apart. We were screaming at him. I threatened to beat him up with a baseball bat because I was so pissed off at him. And mind you, this wasn't just... We weren't angry just because of this one thing. We had been dealing with this guy for quite some time. We lived with him for probably 6 or 7 years, maybe 8. And we just couldn't take the shenanigans anymore. It was just an ongoing ball of bullshit and things that were going on throughout the years. And when you live with a terrible roommate like this guy, you can't handle it anymore. You can't take it anymore. But like I said, there's so many different stories that I could tell and go on and on about the jerk off. That's what we're going to call him. At least I'm being respectful enough to not use his actual name, because I could put him on blast right now. I could, give you his name. I could link his Facebook profile if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of guy. That would be wrong of me. That would make me look terrible. But this guy, he's just done so much in his life to where, hell, he deserves the disrespect. I can't believe he did this shit. How do you destroy someone's house, your kids' stuff, your kids' bedrooms, your so-called friends' items, your friends' items of their parents that are no longer with us, that have passed away, sentimental items? How do you do something like that? How are you that much of a fool? How are you that much of an alcoholic to where you just don't give a damn? I've always related this guy to Frank Gallagher from the TV show Shameless. But after watching Shameless, I kind of realized that Frank Gallagher was a little bit better of a human being than the jerk-off. You know what I'm saying? I think Frank ideally was a little bit better. He's slippery, he's slimy, and he's sliming his way through freaking life. That's what he's doing. One little crack at a time. Alrighty then, guys. That's going to wrap up this story. Hope you guys kind of enjoyed it to some extent. But yeah, this guy absolutely destroyed and dismantled not just our house, but our home. A place where his children learn to read and write and walk and live and just discover life. Why would you take that away from your children? Absolutely repulsive. You're an absolutely disgusting human being. I hope you're listening. I really do. But I know in the end, you'll probably never, ever hear this. Maybe somebody will someday that knows you and then send this to you. I hope so. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a wonderful, splendid day. Hopefully next video is on a little bit more of a positive note. I can share some life advice or something with you guys that you can take home with you. Thank you all so much. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that dang old subscribe button because it won't cost you a dang thing. And peace.